Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome into the Farzy Show here at the Steven Singer Studios. What a day! What a day yesterday! It was beautiful. It was just gorgeous, spectacular even. The Mets are going to Met, folks, and the Mets met it all over the place yesterday, and it was glorious to see. Phillies get the comfort behind win. That's really like it warms your heart, doesn't it? To just know that the Phillies could come back in a game like that, to know that the Mets could be that stupid to take Jake DeGrom out with 77 pitches in the sixth inning. Oh, man. I just envisioned the Phillies on the bench just ring a little triangle. Come and get it, folks. Take Jacob DeGrom's out. We're in the bullpen for the New York Mets. So come get a healthy helping of everything that you could possibly get from the New York Mets. It was spectacular. And one of the best parts for me, we'll get into in a second, because we talk about like Ben Simmons' jump shot and his offense and what can be so frustrating about that. And if he's just a little bit more aggressive, well, this Phillies player, if he's just a little bit more aggressive, can be one hell of a hitter again. So we'll get to that in just a second. Flyers also get the victory last night, which was awesome as well. Travis Konechny scoring a goal for the first time in a month. Travis Sanheim goes ahead and gets a game winner for himself in overtime. And then you see Claude Giroux in the middle of all that. Sean Couturier game-tying goal to be able to force overtime. But in the midst of all this, Claude Giroux just played an outstanding game. And watching him last night break up a 2-on-1 breakaway in overtime, and then a couple of possessions later, you see the Flyers actually win the game, you think to yourself, this guy has been the most consistent Flyer for you all season long. And sure enough, after the game, Alain Vigneault takes to the podium, or takes to the microphone, rather, in his press conference and says, Claude Giroux has been your most consistent player. And he says he has led by example this entire time. Coming to the rink, showing up, working his tail off, making sure other guys are doing exactly that, so that when they do turn this around, and I still believe that the Flyers will turn this around, and who knows, maybe they've actually done that already. Let's hope that they have. But when they do turn it around, or if they are going to turn it around fully, that it's not going to be because of any kind of lack of effort. The effort is going to be there. The hustle is going to be there. And I feel like for the vast majority, let's say the last 5 games or so, you felt like the effort has been there with the Flyers. They've come out. They've tried to take charge from the get-go, and they have come out trying to take control of each game. It just hasn't happened because they haven't been good enough. Sometimes team isn't that good. And hockey teams certainly go through those spells. A lot of teams go through those spells. I reference it all the time, though, in hockey, when you talk about teams that are just in the can't put a puck in the net for a month, it seems like, or they allow 70-some goals like the Flyers did in the month of March, and then they're able to put it together again. Somehow, some way, there's some kind of spark. Maybe it's still Sam Moran, who knows? But the Flyers are able to turn things around, and maybe this is the time where they start turning over a new leaf, and maybe beating the Bruins, albeit giving them a point as well. Maybe beating the Bruins is exactly what this team really needed to say, yeah, we're turning it around. They're going to be right back in action tonight, so we'll obviously keep track of that. We got more on the Flyers for you a little bit later, including Alain Vigneault on what this mean could win for the Philadelphia Flyers. But let's jump back to baseball for a second here. Rhys Hoskins. We talk a lot about the aggression in certain athletes. We talk a lot about the aggression in Ben Simmons. We've talked a lot about the aggression of a guy like Rhys Hoskins. Rhys Hoskins last night on a 2-2 pitch, outside corner of the plate, goes with the pitch, protects the plate, doesn't leave the bat on his shoulder, and he's actually aggressive in his at-bat, which you have seen him be more and more aggressive. As a matter of fact, maybe a little too aggressive at some points last night, like trying to stretch a double into a triple and basically have a third baseman just standing there being like, yeah, come on, tag, you're out. So that was maybe a little too aggressive for Rhys Hoskins last night. But to talk about him and his approach at the plate, Rhys went up there, and I believe it was a 1-0 count, gets a fastball high and away, belts it to right center field, if not dead center field. Well, not dead center field, but right center field, whatever. And he absolutely crushes that baseball to within a foot of it leaving the stadium. Probably one more foot, it would have been able to clear that fence and been a home run. But Rhys steps up to the plate, not looking to walk, not looking to go deep in the count, but rather going up there and doing what a lot of great hitters do. Waiting for the pitch you wanted, whether that was the first pitch of the at-bat or the second pitch of the at-bat, or maybe the third pitch of the at-bat, but not going, all right, I got to go up here and get 7 pitches, and then I'll start my at-bat. No, that's not how that works. And seeing Rhys Hoskins go after it yesterday the way he did, albeit I wasn't too much of a fan of him trying to turn that into a triple, but seeing just his approach to the plate and actually putting bat on ball in that scenario was great. And then seeing it later in the game as part of that 8th inning to help turn that around, a 5-run 8th inning, all 5 of the Phillies' runs coming in that 8th inning, to see Rhys Hoskins step up to the plate and take care of business the way he did was nothing short of awesome. And I just hope we continue to see that from Rhys Hoskins, whether or not he's batting second, whether or not he's batting third, fourth, fifth, wherever he's batting in the lineup. That's what I want to see from Rhys Hoskins. Now, let's bite the football for a second here. And let's go ahead and go back to those New York Mets. I don't know what you're thinking and taking Jacob deGrom out at 77 pitches. I know it was their opening day. I know it was his first action. I know it's their series against the Nationals, in case you missed it, COVID, they didn't play. So this essentially, last night, was the Mets opening day. They thought maybe 6 innings is good enough. We can give it to the bullpen. We'll be fine after that. This is one of the best pitchers in baseball, if not the best pitcher in baseball. And you pull him at 77 pitches? I mean, I remember a couple of years ago, the Gabe Kapler incident on opening day where they pulled Aaron Nola at 58 pitches against the Braves. That was absolutely insane. 77 pitches, still you can file that under the insane category. And, hey, look, I ain't complaining. Because after that, when the Phillies looked at the mound and they saw bullpen arms out there, oh, yeah, once again, come get it. You heard Bryce Harper after the game talk about how excited he was, how his teammates were excited that deGrom was basically pulled from the game, chased from the game by his own manager. And then I'll let you hear from Joe Girardi, who talked about how his team kind of just took things to the next level when they realized that wasn't the guy that they were going to have to face. Listen to the manager talk about his team pouncing on the bullpen.
Say anything, but obviously when you pull a guy like deGrom, you probably figure the bats, I mean, the bats are so tough off of him. I don't know, maybe you relax a little bit more, but I didn't hear our guys say anything. I just think that they kept grinding it. I thought their bats against deGrom were pretty good tonight, but it's really hard to put hits together against him, and he doesn't walk people, so, we hit some balls hard that they caught. But, we were fortunate, and an error led to really us winning that game.
And the error, of course, was the one you just saw there, trying to throw home. And Mets, again, they just couldn't close it out. I don't know why I just bask in the Mets being terrible at baseball. It's really enjoyable for me, and it probably is for you, too. But this is exactly what you want to see from the Phillies to start things out. For the first time, we had a little bit of a shaky situation going on there with the bullpen, with Alvarado coming in, trying to get the save for himself. He allowed a run. It's going to happen. That's okay. Things happen. But he obviously closed things out and hit 101 on the fastball, which is always exciting. You can hear the fans at Citizens Bank Park lose their minds over 101 miles per hour. But all in all, this is exactly what you see from the New York Mets. This is exactly what you want to see, more importantly, from your Philadelphia Phillies, who have started out just great at now 4-0. And if I would have told you before the season started, or no, you know what? Maybe not even then. Maybe even before that. Maybe at the end of last year. Hey, don't worry about it. Next year, the Phillies are going to have a much different looking bullpen. And next year, when the Phillies start out, they're going to be 4-0, and the bullpen will have 3 of their 4 wins. You probably wouldn't have believed me. And for a couple of reasons. One, you would want the lineup to score some runs for your starting pitcher, so that way you wouldn't have to worry about too many things. And then on top of that, the bullpen's historically been god-awful. But this time around, not so much. This time around, the Phillies bullpen comes out, gets you 3 of the first 4 wins of the season. You're sitting at 4-0, and you're staring down the Mets for the rest of this series. And I am absolutely fine with that. So I hope you're basking in the Phillies' success as much as I am. We got some other things we want to get into today. Now, Hugh Douglas will join us on this fine Hugh's Day. And coming up in a minute when we talk to Hugh Douglas, we're going to talk about the Atlanta Falcons, who are picking at number 4 right now. Picking at number 4. Now, the Carolina Panthers went ahead and traded for Sam Darnold from the New York Jets. So the Panthers are now officially out of any type of quarterback running. And the Jets are now officially in quarterback running. So when you break down this NFL draft coming up now at the end of this month, it just makes me even more upset to know that there's another team who is going to be going after a quarterback before the Philadelphia Eagles would have picked at number 6, thus making it even more likely that you would have had Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts, yes, very much on the board when you were going to select at 6. Something that we already knew for the most part, and then this just all but confirms it. Here's the problem I have, and we'll get into this with you a little bit more. If you're someone that's saying, oh, this is great for the future, 3 first-round picks next year. Okay, so first off, we don't know that for sure yet. It's most likely, but we don't know for sure. The pick with Carson Wentz obviously has to convert from a second to a third, or second to a first, excuse me. You're banking on Howie Roseman then being here for the foreseeable future. Think about that. If Howie's plan ends up working out where he gets those 3 first-round picks, and Jalen Hurts looks okay, because I think Jalen Hurts can play. And even if they just get him, even if they get him the reigning Heisman Trophy winner and a guy like Devontae Smith, I think they're going to look pretty good offensively, at least with their quarterback, which is overall what I think Jeffrey Lurie is really going to be concerned with. But then you're kind of rooting by liking this deal. It's almost like you're rooting for Howie Roseman to be back for another season. And if he's back for another season, that means 3 first-round picks will be entrusted to Howie Roseman. And this is, again, the rabbit hole I went down after the Jets traded their starting quarterback, and now are obviously going to be in need of a starting quarterback when they pick before obviously pick before the Eagles, but pick before the Eagles, we're going to pick anyway at number 6. So it just continues to haunt my dreams. So that's where I am at still right now with your Philadelphia Eagles and Howie Roseman. So you can bask in that too. But as of right now, I'll just try to enjoy myself when it comes to what's going on with the Philadelphia Phillies and the Flyers looking like they're turning things around. National championship game last night. Wow. I knew that Baylor would give them a run for their money. I didn't expect Baylor to blow them out. I didn't expect Baylor to jump out to, what was it, an 11-1 run to start that game in like the first 5 minutes? I didn't expect that. And I think it was from Mike Golick that he tweet this out yesterday, I believe, that the Gonzaga, excuse me, that Gonzaga is a great scoring offense, and then meanwhile Baylor lifts with the football team. If that's the case, it certainly showed last night, because last night Baylor 100% looked like the varsity team taking on a freshman squad, and that's not easy to do for a team that's undefeated through the NCAA tournament, through the regular season, obviously, and then going down to the championship game. If you're Gonzaga, that's the only thing that sticks with you. However many wins it was in a row, close to 40 wins in a row for Gonzaga, but going back to even last year for Gonzaga. Then the only thing that sticks with you is losing the national championship game, especially losing it in the way that you lost it, which is never belonging on the court with Baylor last night. Baylor came out with a huge chip on their shoulder, dominated the boards, didn't turn the ball over nearly as much as Gonzaga did, and just made sure they protected that basketball and got second chance points out the wazoo yesterday. And every single time Gonzaga tried to turn things around, like with about 13 minutes left in the second half, they had a couple of big shots. They cut the lead to 9 again. Baylor just said, yeah, to hell with that. Huge 3, and basically that was it. And, I mean, really, it was it from the beginning of the game, when Baylor just seemed to be that JV team taking on a freshman team. I know the comparison is always JV versus varsity. Yeah, it wasn't even that. It was JV versus freshman squad. Maybe it wasn't even a freshman. Maybe it was pre-frosh. Maybe that's really what they were. Maybe it was a high school visitation team going to Gonzaga and actually playing in that game. It was bad. And I was disappointed because I expected at least a close championship match, and it wasn't that at all. So congrats to Baylor. National champions. They absolutely deserve it by the way they played that game last night. To all the kids at home, if people are going to say you're an underdog, and going into that game, Baylor was only a 4.5 underdog, which is significant, obviously. But they went into that game and turned things around after the first half, and they were a 4.5 point favorite at halftime to win that game. And then at one point when I looked at it, they were plus 12 favorite, or excuse me, minus 12 favorite to win that game, and it only kept growing as that game went on. It was disappointing. I wanted a much better finish to the NCAA season, but not in the cards. But still, nonetheless, just an incredible run by Gonzaga and an incredible championship by Baylor. And how about Villanova? Really the team that gave Baylor the biggest run for their money throughout the entire tournament, which is a lot to be said for Jay Wright and the way he was able to keep that team together after Colin Gillespie went down and make that offense still potent and defense potent as well. And that's really the thing that jumped out to me last night. And going into the game yesterday, I said it's going to be an interesting thing watching the finesse of Gonzaga take on the kind of brute force of Baylor. And the brute force just pushed Gonzaga out of the way. And despite foul trouble, with two of their big men getting into foul trouble late in the first half, I mean, you had to make sure that you were getting boards and not fouling out of that game. You had to make sure that you were playing smart heads-up defense and not, just dumb basketball where you're reaching in, you're dragging your feet, and you're committing fouls when you shouldn't be. They played smart, and they were able to play smart, and they were able to play aggressive, and that was the key to Baylor winning last night. And it reminded me, if you ever see the movie Swingers with Jon Favreau and Vince Vaughn, this is what it reminded me of. If you remember the scene where they're playing Sega Genesis and they're playing NHL Hockey 94, and Sue has his Kings, his 99 Superfan Kings jersey on, and he's playing Vince Vaughn's character, Trent, and he goes, Sue goes, I took the Kings to the cup. The Kings are a finesse team, and Trent's beating the crap out of him with the Jeremy Roenick led Chicago Blackhawks and Chris Chelios Chicago Blackhawks. The Kings are the finesse team. Gonzaga was the finesse team. And then you had a team like Baylor come in and be the Chicago Blackhawks, where they just push that finesse team around and were able to dominate. That's where my mind went last night. For anyone who's played that, make somebody's head bleed. For anybody who's played that game, that's what it made me think of. A finesse team just getting manhandled by a bunch of bullies. And I say that as a compliment to Baylor for the way that they were able to play that game. And if they do lift with the weight room, that's news to me, but it certainly showed last night. So nonetheless, I wish it was a better game. It wasn't. And we'll see what happens next year with the NCAA tournament. Coming up in just a second, we're going to talk to Hugh Lamont Douglas III on this fine Hughes Day. We're going to talk about where the Falcons could be going, because there's some chatter. There's some chatter going on right now with the Atlanta Falcons, possibly, potentially, maybe exploratory talks, talking about moving out of the 4th overall spot and somebody else moving up, most likely to take a quarterback. We'll talk to Hugh about that. We'll also talk to Hugh about how his Atlanta Braves, I say his Atlanta Braves because remember, he's in Atlanta now. He's working at a radio station in Atlanta. His Atlanta Braves just getting manhandled by the Phillies. So that'll be fun to get into. But Hugh Lamont Douglas III will be joining us, former Eagle, coming up in just a second. We talked to him yesterday, and we'll catch up with everything that is going on in Atlanta, and especially the state of Georgia. I don't know if you heard, they lost the All-Star game. So we'll talk to Hugh about that and get his take, as well as the people's take of Atlanta on everything going on in that category. It looks like the Rockies, Coors Field, is going to be the new host of the All-Star game. But right now, I do want to tell you about Steven Singer, my good friend Steven Singer at IHateStevenSinger.com. It's here. Steven's brand new rose color is here. Valentine's Day? Did it already pass? It absolutely did. But Mother's Day, right around the corner. Mother's Day, always got to take care of mom. Steven's got your back when it comes to this. His famous real roses dipped and trimmed in 24 karat gold now come in sunshine yellow. Mom's going to love this. This new rose is a brilliant shade of yellow that dazzles and sparkles. Steven has always been in love with the love business. And this past year, we've seen how important love is. In addition to brightening your loved one's day, in addition to brightening mom's day, Steven wants to put a little sunshine in everyone's days. So he's continuing to use a portion of each rose sold to support local restaurants by catering meals for all the incredible nurses, doctors, first responders, and hospital heroes. Go right now to IHateStevenSinger.com. Send a sunshine gold dip rose this Mother's Day. It's a win, win, win. You'll give sunshine that lasts a lifetime to a loved one. You'll be supporting local restaurants by thanking our essential workers, and you'll feel great about doing it. You can't go wrong. They all come with a lifetime guarantee, free personalized gift message, and a fast and free shipping capabilities. So simply say, I love you, and honor your mom on Mother's Day. Just go to IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Coming up, I want to ask this question before we get Hugh here, because I'm going to ask Hugh this question as well. In honor of Aaron Rodgers hosting Jeopardy, what is, and you can hit me up in the comments here, what's a game show you would host? Like, what's a game show you would love to host? Aaron Rodgers was probably living his post-football or non-football dream of hosting Jeopardy. What game show would you most want to host? And when Hugh joins us, his is, I think, a great one. and it's a lot of fun. I'll give you mine when we come back. But right now, let's send it over on the Zatos Investments guest line to my good friend Hugh Douglas on this fine Hugh's Day. Happy Hugh's Day to you, Hugh Lamont Douglas III. What's happening, brother?
What's going on, man?
First off, from 92.9 The Game, Hugh Douglas joins us. Hugh, couple of interesting things. As you're aware, Georgia has been in the news. The Falcons have been in the news. The Braves have certainly been in the news. We got so much we're going to get to today. What would you like to start with?
Let's start with the All-Star game. Or the
Okay.
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 Get that out the way.
All right, let's get it out of the way. So
that's the elephant in the room. Let's just get that out the way.
Okay, so you're down there in Atlanta working for 92.9 The Game, and you've received word that the All-Star game that was supposed to happen at the home of the Braves is not happening due to voting laws that have passed in Georgia. So now there's no longer an All-Star game. We hosted the Braves here in Philadelphia. They had a patch over their arm covering that they were going to have the All-Star game. I can't wear the patch. So what was first the reaction by the Atlanta Braves fans, and what was the reaction from you, my friend?
Initially, everybody, like the Braves had their statement, and that was met with some displeasure, the way that they handled
some criticisms,
some displeasure.
Okay.
And my thing was, I was just like, wow, because that you're talking about coming off of COVID. That's a revenue windfall for all the things around. And if you ever been here, Mark, the Battery is beautiful. It's kind of like, how Citizens Bank Park is, but it's more condensed. Like everything is truly in walking distance.
Wow.
If Chicky and Pete's was right there at the ballpark and a couple other places around there, like the cheesesteak spot and some other places just in one condensed area. It's kind of like that. Nice place. A lot of the people here were excited about it. They were excited about the potential windfall. So when that happened, that really put a damper on a lot of people's plans. A lot of businesses are suffering. That was one of the first things I thought about, and just the thought of people losing out on that revenue. And, since then, there's been a lot of talks about other stuff happening, potentially SEC game moving. I know there was some talk about the PGA. I don't think that's happening. I don't think the Masters is moving. So
I don't think so either.
No, that's not happening. So, yeah, it was unfortunate, man. It was really, really unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. And just overall, from your own personal take on it, was this something that surprised you? Were you taken aback by it? Were most people taken aback by it? What was your reaction?
Well, my reaction, the way that everything went down, it was a closed door session, and then I don't know if you saw the story with the woman, the congresswoman knocks on the door. She gets arrested because of this bill. And then it just, like they say, the S hit the fan. It hit the fan. And what the unfortunate thing about all this, Mark, is that we as sports analysts and things of that nature, we don't want to talk about politics. We don't. Mm-hmm. But when it's thrown in your face like that and it comes to the forefront, it puts us in a position where we don't want to be, because we want to talk and we want to have fun. We want to be the outlet. We want to be the avenue for people to get away from the day to day. But sometimes when something like this kicks you in the balls, you got to talk about it. I mean, and you can't run away from it.
And that's why us as sports talk hosts shouldn't be talking about it, because we go back to the conversations of, well, what's a kick in the nuts?
It's a kick in the nuts. People get mad because we have an opinion, and they don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? Hear our opinion. They want to hear us talk about sports.
Right.
Fortunately, when you get kicked in the nuts, you got to talk about being kicked in the nuts. You know what I'm saying? And it just makes it uncomfortable for everybody. About as uncomfortable as it is getting kicked in the nuts. So, yeah.
No, that's what actually, forget it. Maybe that's not what a presidential debate needs. Well, I'll tell you what party's going to get kicked in the nuts if you ask me. Yeah. But we kind of almost just had that. Anyway, so Hugh, well, let me just say this. For the revenue stream and all that stuff for everybody in Atlanta that was looking forward to making that money, making that bread, my heart goes out to those people. If this is all to achieve a greater good, then yeah, I'm on board with it. So time will tell.
That's the bottom line. I mean, sometimes you gotta shake the apple cart, So we're gonna leave it at that, and that's enough about that. Let's talk some sports.
Yeah, let's talk some sports. So let's jump into this for a second, because I saw some speculation, some quotes that may or may not be out there. One was from Tom Curran, NBC New England. Another was just some speculation from Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated, talking about the possibility of the Falcons trading back. They own the number 4 overall pick. The possibility of them trading back. The quote from Tom Curran's article was exploratory talks. Everybody has exploratory talks about something at some point, I'm sure. Yeah. What are you hearing in Atlanta about potentially after the Panthers trade for Sam Darnold from the Jets? What are you hearing about the potential of the Falcons trading back from number 4 overall?
Haven't really heard too much about that. I know that when you're sitting at 4, that you have to have those talks. And it's funny, Mark, because I said last week, this is an intriguing thing, because when you had the San Francisco 49ers move up, you knew that they were going to get a quarterback. And now you're saying, like, I saw the little thing where they're talking about Sam Darnold going to Carolina and things like that. The Jets were the wild card. Now, if the Jets were, and I said that if the Jets take a quarterback, then that puts the Falcons in a position where, what do you do? Right. Because if one of those quarterbacks go, because they're going to go, probably quarterback's going to go 1, 2, 3. Mm-hmm. So if one of those guys that you want goes at one of those positions, do you reach for a quarterback if you're the Falcons, or do you trade back? That's the intriguing thing. And so with the Jets making this move, that kind of lets you know they're probably going to get a quarterback, more than likely.
Yeah, no, I agree. And this is an interesting scenario here, because that means the Jets will take a quarterback. That means, obviously, that you're most likely going to have a whole slew of guys off the board, meaning the position players that you might be after. Let's just say if you were holding place at number 4, or if you were the Eagles holding place at number 6, you would still most likely get Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts in that spot. So it makes you bang your head against the wall.
It all depends, because I've heard there's been some speculation that Kyle Pitts might go number 4. I can't see a tight end going that high. Not saying that he's not worth that pick, but if he gets picked at 4, that'd be the highest position that a tight end has ever went in the NFL. I think that before that it was 5 or 6 or something like that, but he'll be the absolute highest. So he has a lot of talent. But when you look at what the Falcons need, and I've always said, Mark, that they should get a quarterback because you're drafting for the future. But if all the quarterbacks that potentially would have been there when you were picking are gone, then I don't think you should reach for a quarterback. And that just all depends. It all depends on Zach Wilson. It all depends on Mac Jones, if people feel like Mac Jones is a first-round draft pick. So it might be Trey Lance or Justin Fields. It all depends on who the Falcons feel is the guy for them. Like because it could be Justin Fields or Trey Lance go 1, 2, 3. Like it could, because we already know Trevor Lawrence going number 1.
Sure.
So Trey Lance and Justin Fields might go 2, 3. Mac Jones, who knows? So you might be reaching for a quarterback if you're the Falcons.
Right. So Zach Wilson up there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what their draft board looks like. I don't know how high they have the tight end rated. It's just kind of hard to say right now, but it is intriguing. It is intriguing that all of this is going down and all of this is happening like right before our eyes. And this is going to be an exciting draft, no question about it.
Yeah, right at the end of the month, man. It'll be a nice bookend to the month of April. So if you were sitting in that office, you would still tell them to try to take a quarterback at number 4, or would you tell them to go after offensive linemen like Sewell, for instance, or would you tell them to go after a guy like Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase?
You know what I was thinking, because I was thinking about this today. The Falcons have historically had issues getting to the quarterback. And when you talk about this Dan Pease defense, Coach Pease defense that they're trying to build, you need to get pass rushers. I'm thinking Azeez Ojulari, the young man that played at Georgia, had a chance. I got to see him play a lot. Big dude, turns the corner, can turn the corner. Kind of reminds me body-wise of the freak, Javon Curse.
Wow.
Kind of like just the tall guy, can get underneath blocks and can turn the corner, has pretty good speed at that size. I don't know if you're going to take him at 4, though. But if the quarterback that you wanted is not there, then you got to go with the defensive line, in my opinion.
So you wouldn't trade back then? You would try to just take him at number 4?
See, that's the thing. Like I said, it all depends on who's rated high on their board. Now,
Gotcha.
You get a pass rusher. Now, is he worth going at 4? That's the question that needs to be answered. Like when you look at some of these draft boards, no, he's not. I think he's like 10th or 12th. So that might be a reach. So you might want to trade back.
Right.
But it all depends because, like, listen, we've seen it before, Mark. When teams start trading back and they get a little squirrely, the draft goes wonky.
Yeah. Since we talked last week, I have probably fallen into a worse place with where I'm at with the Eagles trading back from 6 to 12 because, like, the thing you look forward to means that Howie Roseman's back for yet another year and has 3 first-round picks to play with, which means he'll be back for an X amount of time, which means for the foreseeable future, Howie Roseman is your general manager. So I'm even if I try to grasp the straws to be like, hey, look, 3 first-round picks next year potentially if that Carson Wentz deal does flip from a second to a first-round pick, the conditional pick, then that means Howie Roseman's going to be here to pick him. And I don't want that to happen. I'd rather him take a no-miss type of guy, a can't-miss type of guy at number 6. So I just want to let you know where I'm at. That's in a worse place. At number 12, we'll see what happens. Maybe Devontae Smith's still available there, and there's some other speculation about some other guys dropping back that far. But we've talked about this before. The mindset of a locker room when they find out that you trade back from 6 to 12 out of the top 10, that can't be a win-now type of mindset in a locker room.
It's a lot of talent in this draft. It's a lot of talent. And I think when you trade back, you're basically saying that Jalen Hurts is going to be the quarterback of the future. He's going to be your quarterback for the foreseeable future. Mm-hmm. And when you look at some of these receivers, you're going to still get a pretty good player at that position. And then you think about the receiver position as a whole. Think about all the guys that were drafted in later rounds that turned out to be pretty damn good receivers.
Right.
So it's a great chance that you're still going to get a good player. It's just that now at 12, you got to look to put a lot of talent around him. You know, you look at who was the quarterback in Buffalo, Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And what they did with him. You got to put talent around him. You know, there was a time where my partner, John Fricky, he absolutely believed that he was going to lose his job this year. He thought he was going to lose his job to Jake Fromm. He thought Jake Fromm was going to come in and take Josh Allen's job. Josh Allen proved him wrong. He went out there and he played well, and he grew as a quarterback in one season because he had talent around him.
MVP candidate.
Yeah. So I think that in order to let Jalen Hurts thrive in his offense, you got to put him in position to be successful, and that means you got to put talent around him.
All right. Let me throw this to you, my friend. Hugh Lamont Douglas III, 92.9 The Game in Atlanta. Let me throw this to you. This year, I believe, is a one-year audition for Jalen Hurts. Mm-hmm. And if I'm Jalen Hurts, I am well aware of that. Because here's what the Eagles have in their back pocket with 3 first-round picks next year. Anything they want.
Yeah.
If there's some hotshot quarterback coming out next year, the Eagles have 3 first-round picks to play with to trade up, potentially even trade Jalen Hurts if they want to take that franchise quarterback. So really, when you think about it, but it's going to go to quarterback because that's the sexy position. If you're anybody on this team, but again, most notably quarterback, and you know that your team has 3 first-round picks, that means whatever they want, whoever they want, at any spot they want, could be theirs because they have, you know, the most assets to try to trade up and take somebody.
Yeah, and you have to go out there, man, and you have to impress. But again, Mark, you got to give some talent. You got, like, the best friend of any young quarterback is a strong running game. I mean, it is. You got to get a strong running game. I've seen tweets. Shout out to the folks from Philadelphia that are on Twitter. They've been killing the offensive line of the Philadelphia Eagles, saying that they need to upgrade that position. Mm-hmm. If you run the ball successfully, you could mask a lot of problems that you have across that offensive line.
Mm-hmm. You know? No, I agree. And I think they have the talent to do it. It's just a matter of a lot of those guys staying healthy.
Yeah.
And then after that, making sure that they have depth at those positions as well.
Agreed.
Hugh, I'm sorry. I'm remiss. I'm actually pushing this back. I wish we would have talked about it around the All-Star game. I don't know if you're aware of this. The MLB season started. It started for the Phillies. It kind of started for the Braves. I mean, they were there. They were in Philadelphia and got their ass swept out of town.
Yeah.
Why do the Braves suck? That's my question.
You know, it's funny. 162 games, Mark. I can't get excited about 3. And then you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
The Braves were in this same position, 2-3 years ago, and went on to win like 97 games.
Yeah.
So it's not that big a deal. And then I thought about something that I never thought about before. I was talking to my host, John Freaky, and he said the craziest thing that I've ever heard, Mark. We were talking about the game and the fact that the Braves were going up to play the Phillies. And he said, well, let me look at the forecast in Philadelphia. He said, oh, it's going to be 51 degrees. That's not bad. I said, John, are you crazy? It's Philadelphia. I said, 51 degrees, that's cold. Well, that's not going to be. I said, no, John, we live in Georgia. 51 in Georgia hits different than 51 in Philadelphia. And I was like, he was like, what do you mean? John, I said, you know, that's by the water. I said, it's by the water and it's cold. Dude, I talked to Rhea Hughes and she was talking about, I was out there and she said her toes were freezing. It was cold out there and the bats were cold.
Yeah.
The thing about it, you know, Max Reedy didn't have his best stuff.
No.
He pitched well enough to win, though. They didn't hit. I think they got all weekend. They got like 3 hits. They got three runs, I mean.
Here's how bad it is. You guys made the Phillies bullpen look amazing. Nobody does that.
Nobody was hitting. And then you had Big Panda. He got a shot. He went out the park.
Yeah, Nola.
The wind was blowing all over the place. There was a couple balls that went foul. And down here today, John's going crazy. Well, they need to change the lineup. They need to switch people around. They need to have Acuna. And I'm like, and I'm sitting there, Mark, and like he's a diehard baseball fan, and I get that. And there's a lot of diehard baseball fans down here. But if I broke that down into a football game, that's like what, 2 series?
Yeah,
3 series,
something like that. Yeah, I know what you mean.
I haven't even finished the game yet, so I have to sit there and hear people vent over 3 games against the Phillies, who, number one, the Braves start out slow anyway. They historically, since I've been here, they've been a slow starting team. As the weather heats up, they heat up. So I can't get excited. I can't get excited about that.
All right. Well, I just want to correct one thing from you. You said that the stadium is by the water. It's by the water. Come on, Hugh.
Hey, Mark, I'm sitting there. What did I say wrong? It was like the water ice.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. The water.
It gets cold in Philadelphia. He's like, oh,
yeah.
Philadelphia, 51. That's not bad. Are you drunk?
Hugh, the Braves do look like a team that will be a force, I believe, in the AL East, the NL East, and the NL East is supposed to be the toughest division in baseball.
It looks like it's going to be a pretty formidable division this year. Really does.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, before I ask you something fun here, because I wrote down an answer. Now, I asked you before we hit record here on this this interview that we do the night before every day, Monday nights, to air here on a Hughes Day morning.
Yeah.
I asked you what game show you would want to host in honor of Aaron Rodgers, and I wrote it down on this pad. Now, I'm not going to show it just yet because I want to ask you I want to recap one thing before we go off in our silliness here. The one thing is you don't see, bottom line is you don't see, if you had to predict it, the Atlanta Falcons trading out of the 4th overall pick.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
All right. In honor of Aaron Rodgers getting a crack at Jeopardy for the next 2 weeks as the host, taking over for Alex Trebek here. In honor of him taking over Jeopardy for the next 2 weeks, Hugh Lamont Douglas III, if I could snap my fingers and make you a host of any game show in the history of ever, what would it be?
I would probably say the Gong Show. You don't remember? You remember the Gong Show?
Oh yeah, they tried to revamp it with Mike Myers, I think, a couple of years ago. But yeah, no, the Gong Show, the original Gong Show, absolutely phenomenal.
It has to be something fun for me, because I could not see like doing the Jeopardy. Alex Trebek did a great job.
Amazing,
amazing job. I would not want to do that. Definitely would not want to do that.
Yeah, I'm not good at acting smart.
No, and I don't want to wear pants. Wearing pants. I haven't worn pants in such a long time.
A year? Has it been a year?
Oh, it's been longer than that. And
I had to put on a suit the other day.
Oh, I haven't had one of those on in a long time. the thought of having to put on a suit or actually shaving is it gives me shingles. I don't want to do it. I do not want to do it.
All right, here's full disclosure, my friend.
What did you say?
The dating game. I don't think you can see it on TV or see it on the camera. The dating game.
Would that be fun, though?
Well, here's why I said it. Because years ago, I was interviewing you, and you kept on referring to me as Chuck.
Way back in the day.
Yeah, way back in the day. And I just thought that the dating game, what was it, Chuck Woolery? Was that the show? Dating game? Or Love Connect? Love Connection.
Chuck Woolery, yes, Love Connection.
Ah, idiots.
Oh, Love Connection was horrible. Chuck Woolery's hair was horrible. That was a horrible show.
Okay. All right. Well, my apologies. I thought I knew you.
Oh, no, but that's fine, though. But I would want to do something fun. I would want to gong people. Yeah. And I would want to ask them, why did you pick this to do? Why are you here?
Actually, this is a great concept.
Why are you out here embarrassing your family like this? Why would you like stuff like that? Why are you?
I could picture you. I could picture Trey. I could picture a whole bunch of you guys from the 0405 squad, and I could picture you guys just out there hammering a gong, making fun of the average Joes like me.
Oh, man, I tell you what, man. Yeah, that would be fun. Trey, Trot, yeah, just wilding out, yeah.
And you know what? Dawkins would be there just as the good cop.
Yes.
Hey, it's not that bad. God bless you guys.
Doc would be reserved. Doc's trying to, he's trying to move away a little bit from Weapon X. He's gotten a little older now.
That's true.
Older, so yeah. He's not. I was about to say he's not as fiery, but that's a lie. I would be telling a lie if I said that about Doc. He's still pretty fiery.
Hugh, great talking to you on this fine Hughes Day, my friend. Happy belated Easter to you and your family, by the way, and always great talking to you.
Always great talking to you, Marc Farzetta. Have a great day.
You as well. Have a great Hughes Day from Atlanta.
Woohoo!
Always a pleasure talking to Hugh Douglas on the Zatos Investments guest line. Before we jump into our sponsors here and our comments, ladies and gentlemen, the Gong Show is an all-time classic, and I'm like 99% sure they tried to revive that, and I thought they tried to do that with Mike Myers. I could be wrong, but I'm like almost 100% sure that they actually tried to do that. But I remember the replays of the old Gong Show. And I remember my brother and I would watch that show and just thought it was hilarious how, obviously there was a bunch of BS attached to it, but there was, no BS. It was either good or bad gong with the Gong Show. What a great concept. The show I would watch, somebody did mention it in our comments, the show that I would host, somebody did mention it in our comments, and you know what? We'll let you see Aaron Rodgers host a little bit of Jeopardy from last night, his debut performance. We'll break that down for you in just a second. But right now, I do want to tell you about DraftKings. Man, remember yesterday when I told you I was a mush? Well, it was proven last night. If there was any shadow of a doubt. Man, oh man. Yeah, I'm big fat mush, this guy. But right now, you don't have to be a mush like me. You could be a winner like I used to be. I remember when I was a winner. Now, not so much. But if you want to be a winner, bet with DraftKings. DraftKings Sportsbook. Basketball teams entering the final month of the regular season as they gear up for the playoffs. While some teams are locks to make the playoffs, like your squad, by the way, here in Philadelphia. Others are still fighting for the opportunity to chase the trophy this summer. DraftKings Sportsbook, and America's top-rated sportsbook app, is putting you in the center of the action with a chance to turn $1 into $100 in free bets. Turning $1 into $100 is simple. Pick any basketball team to win their next game, and if during that game your team actually hits a three, you bring home $100 in free bets. That's it. Team you bet on to win, that's the three-pointer. There you go. That's $100. That's 100 to 1 odds on the team if you're choosing to just hit a three-pointer. You don't even need to win. This is for new customers. This year, teams have been hitting threes left and right at an unprecedented pace. So get in on all the action with DraftKings Sportsbook before this offer ends. DraftKings, safe, secure, reliable, and you can deposit or withdraw your winnings at your convenience. Download the top-rated sportsbook, DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and use promo code Farzy. That's promo code Farzy when you turn $1 into $100 in free bets. If your basketball team, if you're choosing, just hits a three-pointer. That's promo code Farzy to turn $1 into $100 in free bets for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, present in Pennsylvania. New customers only. Restrictions apply in partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Did you indulge on Easter Sunday? Little brunch at Steak and Maine, steakandmaine.com. Fine dining in the heart of Northeast Maryland. Whether you dine in a more upscale steakhouse or casual bar and patio, you'll have the highest quality prime meats, fresh seafood, world-class oyster bar, and freshly prepared sushi. All that and an extensive wine list, including their own Cavada Cellars wines. My man Tony Cavada was posting pictures of this wine yesterday. It looks just delicious. Pour that with a nice steak, a nice tomahawk steak. Come on now. They're open every day for lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch. Steak and Maine in Northeast Maryland voted the #1 place for steaks in America by the Travel Channel and the Cooking Channel. See for yourself. Check them out at steakandmaine.com for more information. And how about our friends at Zatos Investments, the up-and-coming luxury real estate development company? They bring us our guest line every single day. They're just killing it right now in the Philadelphia real estate game. They design and develop top-of-the-line custom homes all around the city, ranging from small single-family rehabs to ground-up new construction townhomes and condo buildings. Zatos also works closely with their private investor base to provide them with substantial returns on their investment, ranging from 20 to 40%. These guys, like I said, just crushing the Philadelphia real estate game right now. To see some of their properties and to learn how you too could invest with Zatos Investments, reach out to info@ZatosInvestments.com or visit ZatosInvestments.com. My thanks to all our fine sponsors here on the Farzy Show. Much appreciated. All right. Before we go to the comments here, I do want to play this for you here. I was going to save it for our morning rush, but I got a long Elaine Vigneault cut I want to get in that, so I want to make sure that I get this in for you here. Remember that game that the Packers played at Lambeau, and they played Tom Brady and the Buccaneers before the Bucs on to win the Super Bowl? Well, remember, with a little over 2 minutes left, the Packers decided to kick a field goal down 8 points to the Buccaneers. Instead of having drive the rest of the way at I think their 28-yard line, or the Buccaneers' 28-yard line, they decided to kick a field goal as opposed to give Aaron Rodgers an opportunity to try to get it into the end zone and actually tie the game with a 2-point conversion. So, long story short, Aaron Rodgers ends up hosting Jeopardy, and I believe this is his final Jeopardy. I don't watch enough Jeopardy to know this. But the last thing where they asked the questions and they would do the wager thing, Final Jeopardy, I believe, they asked the question. I don't even know what the question was, but the response to the question is what gets everybody laughing here. Take a look at this with Aaron Rodgers hosting Jeopardy.
Scott, did you come up with the correct response? Who wanted to kick that field goal? That is a great question. Should be correct, but unfortunately for this game today, that's incorrect, and you're going to lose 0.
That guy's name is Scott. Good hustle, Scott. I mean, that's what you got to ask right there. And I love Aaron Rodgers' expression on his face. He's just like, ha, it wasn't my idea. Pretty much is what I got out of that. But good hustle to that contestant for just having a phenomenal answer right there. So what show would you host? You just heard from Hugh Douglas say that he would host the Gong Show. Where's my man here in my comments? Just saying it right here. There you are, Brett. Brett said it. I'm with you, Brett. Double Dare. All right? Double Dare. I would love to be Marc Summers for a day. And I actually had the opportunity, and I had the distinct pleasure of meeting Marc Summers and but actually doing a little segment for the 700 level show that I used to host with my good friend Natalie Eganoff. We Drunkle Dare at Frankfurt Hall in Fishtown. Marc Summers did a little event there. And Natalie and I were participants in a TV capacity only. We didn't compete in front of like a wild, crazy bar, unfortunately. But for a TV thing, we did the whole thing. It was insane. It was a dream come true. I remember watching Double Dare every day with Marc Summers, and then also watching what would you do from Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida. I love Marc Summers, and I would host Double Dare. I would host What Would You Do? Pretty much anything Marc Summers did, I would absolutely do. So yes, Brett, good hustle to you for that. The Gong Show is definitely a great one. Let's just jump into it now with our social media check-in brought to you by Steak and Maine and steakandmaine.com. Fine dining in the heart of Northeast Maryland. We'll run through all these comments. There's a lot of them today. Rob's just checking in saying, Phillies. You're damn right, Phillies. I'm with you there. Mally's checking in. Good morning to you as well, Mally. Mets doing Mets things. Thomas, I agree with you. Kind of funny how the Mets hire a manager who was fired before his first game last year. Did it again with the general manager this year. Not talked about enough. I agree, Matt. Good point by you. JD, I would have said, Mark, give me what you're smoking. Okay. Don't know the reference. Sean, Mark, I love the way you say Gonzaga, but you sound like a weirdo. Is it Gonzaga or Gonzaga? Gonzaga? Zaga. I always thought you call them the Zags. You don't call them the Zogs. But then, like, people from Washington, I believe they say Zaga, like the ah sound. But then again, I was saying, like, Spokane for a million years, and it's actually Spokane. Anyway. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Henry, thanks for checking in on the program. Who else was checking in right there? That was JD and Sean. Appreciate you guys. Michael checking in saying Phillies 162-0. I mean, for reals? You're damn right, for reals. Rob McElhenney still stands. I tweeted it out last night. Still stands. Mac Ladd will shake my head. You guys are 100% right with how he says Gonzaga, but let the man do his show. Thank you very much, Mac. John's checking in saying, agree with the talent will be available at 12. I agree talent will be available at 12, but will it be game-breaking talent that you could possibly get at 6? I don't think so. But, yeah, I would hope that there would be a talented player available at 12. James, see you, Farzy, as either someone that is all right. This is for the kids. Earmuff it for me, all right? I see you, Farzy, as either someone who uses a bong 24/7 or you never smoke. You definitely don't come across as someone who just occasionally uses it or nothing with all or nothing with you could go either way. James, I'll go ahead and spoil this for you. James thought that Hugh and I said the Bong Show. Different thing. But James, yeah, I'm not a big. I don't smoke the marijuana. If you do, that's fine with me. I don't care. You do you, man. We live in a different world now, and I have a lot of friends that smoked for a long time, and that's I have no judgment. I love them. How about that? Love my friends. Anyways, not the Bong Show. Yeah, thank you. Brett's checking in saying, I'd host Double Dare. Brett, you're the man. I appreciate you saying that. Nasty Knuckles checking in saying, let's snap some biscuits, baby. That was a fun little post-game joke in case you guys didn't see us do post-game some weeks ago. It was a good time. Just a lot of people checking in right now. I mean, DraftKings didn't go at 6. I'm sorry, DK Metcalf didn't go at 6. Yeah, a lot of people passed on DK Metcalf. You're right. The draft doesn't end at number 6. It doesn't end at number 11 either. So, yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed and see how the Eagles make this hopefully happen and actually getting some significant talent there at number 12 overall. Thanks to everyone that commented there on our comment section on our YouTube page. Appreciate you. We're now up to 781 subscribers in a little over 2 months now. So I appreciate everybody checking in and watching the show and subscribing that have subscribed. If you haven't subscribed and you're watching right now, click. Go ahead. Thank you very much. Moving on. Morning Rush, brought to you by Sky Motorcars and SkyMotorcars.com. So much to get to today. First off, we haven't talked enough Flyers. We talked a lot of Phillies to start out the show. Talked some Sixers. We're going to get in that a little bit more in a second here with our big bet segment. But Flyers get the huge win in overtime last night. Travis Sanheim gets the game-winning goal. Absolutely unreal the way it played out. A lot of credit to Claude Giroux, who came up with a huge stop on the 2-on-1 breakaway. And that was against the Bruins, so they get the Bruins monkey off their back. It's their first win over the Bruins this season in now 6 tries, I believe it was last night. So great to see it finally happen for the Flyers. Alain Vigneault was asked after the game how important it was. And Alain Vigneault, you'll catch him in the middle of saying, before the game, he told his team how important this game was, and he told the media how important this game was. Here's Alain Vigneault on just how important this game against Boston was.
And I talked it with you guys also that, we needed this win. We needed to play well and play hard, and which we did. It was a hard-fought game by both teams. We were down by a goal, found a way, a power play found a way to tie it up. And, we had some real good looks, I thought, in overtime. And Travis was able to score a big goal there that gave us this win. And now we got to hurry up, get home, and get ready for tomorrow, because tomorrow is just as important as today.
The games coming, keep the wins coming for the Philadelphia Flyers, because they're going to be right back on the ice tonight. 7 o'clock puck drop. This time, obviously, like the coach just said, like the bench boss just said, 7 o'clock puck drop against the Bruins in South Philadelphia. So keep your fingers crossed for that one. Real quick, I do want to get back to this. Friend of the show, Adam Kaplan, he's been on a bunch of times Inside the Birds. The original Chuck Barris was outstanding. Chuck Barris was the original host of the Gong Show, and those are the episodes I used to watch. Gong Show. Gong. show, for those that might have misheard me earlier. And I'm pretty sure he was the guy. I'll try to find a second to Google it. I'm pretty sure he used to put Alpo on his crotch so that as a joke, with pants on, folks, as a joke, every time there was a dog that would perform on the show, the dog would run over to the judges and start sniffing around Chuck's the groinal region. And it was hilarious. Got to laugh every single time. And apparently, is he a Philly guy? I think he's a Philly guy too. And not like, is he a Philly guy, but like literally like from Philly. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he's the guy who used to put Alpo on his crotchal region outside his pants, and the dog would come over and sniff around there, and it would just be a laugh every single time. Anyway, that's what I remember from my childhood. So back to Flyers. Great win by them. Hopefully they'll be able to do it again tonight. Phillies back at it tonight, 7:05 start time against the Mets. They'll look to take 5 games in a row to start out the season. Chase Anderson, former Brewer, will be on the bump tonight for the Phillies. Right-handed pitcher goes against Marcus Stroman. I really like Marcus Stroman. I wish the Phillies would have gotten him. What was it, going into last year? So he's a good right-handed pitcher. He'll be going up against the Phillies, and hopefully the Phillies just keep this going tonight. Let's move right into our big bets segment. In case you needed more proof, and I saw somebody tweet me this yesterday. I was out and about in the city, and somebody tweeted me that don't tell me you're a mush, just tell me your pick, and I'll tell you if you're a mush. And I'm like, no, I'll cut you off at both here. I'll let you know. I'll let you do as least amount of work as possible. I am a mush. And the Gonzaga Bulldogs were a minus 4.5 favorite yesterday, and they were 31-0. You know where this is going. I said, you know what? I really like Gonzaga. Let's see if they go ahead and they win the game here by 5 points. When Drew Timmy is shaving his handlebar mustache, whatever that is, when he's shaving that, he'll be cursing me because I bet Gonzaga last night, and of course I did, because the one game I bet is the one game they lose. If that's not the definition of mush, I don't know. I don't know what is. So there you go. The game I like tonight, I'm doing it. And I feel like when you're in a rut, you got to stick to what you know best. And I feel like I know the Sixers best. And I feel like the Celtics suck. So the Sixers are going to win tonight. And I got them at a -1 on DraftKings. So go ahead. DraftKings, I'm betting. I just told you I was a mush, so why would you listen to me anyway when it comes to my bet? But I'm just telling you, I'm on DraftKings tonight. I bet the Sixers -1 going up against the Boston Celtics. I told you all a lot yesterday how much I think the Celtics suck. I think they're talking about firing Brad Stevens. Joel Embiid back in the lineup hopefully again tonight. Sixers are going to win this game. And they're going to win it by obviously more than a point. So I like the Sixers beat Celtics tonight, and I like myself winning some money back from my bet last night, and really a bunch of bets that I've just absolutely botched over the last couple of weeks. I've just been an embarrassment to the world. But if you're betting, make sure you bet with DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Do what I do, except do what I do, but win. But use DraftKings to win. Ladies and gentlemen, personal announcement. I got vaccinated yesterday. My wife and I, we went to Center City, and we got vaxxed, right? We're vaccinated AF, if you will, and I'm in the vax category. So I look forward to hopefully resuming a little bit more of my normal life. Still wearing a mask, still representing the mask people, and going out there and doing all that. But I did the vaccination thing, and I feel fine. Felt like a normal shot. Arm stung a little bit. That's what happens when people put a needle in your arm. Other than that, I feel fantastic. So. I hope everyone that gets vaccinated has the same luck I did. I know there's a bunch of them that has a lot. All of them have some sort of side effect depending on who you are. Maybe you just don't take shots well. But yesterday for me, it was great. I feel fantastic, and hopefully I continue to feel fantastic. And I don't talk to the pitcher in the middle of a no-hitter where all of a sudden I'll start feeling bad. But yesterday, man, shots, everybody. All right, that's enough. Thanks for watching today. And just to answer that question one more time, no, I don't smoke. Thanks for watching today, everybody. Thanks for listening. My thanks to Hugh Douglas for joining the program today. Always a pleasure talking to Hugh Lamont Douglas III. Hopefully tomorrow we'll get some Sixers basketball conversation going. We'll also get some Phillies more undefeated conversation going. Hopefully the Phillies advance to 5-0 and the Flyers hopefully they just take care of business again tonight on the back-to-back now at home against the Boston Bruins. Why not make it 2 in a row? We'll hope for that. Talk to you tomorrow, everybody. Thanks for listening. Click subscribe, and thanks for watching as well. I'm Marc Farzetta. Jim Hyden produced the program. This is a Buzz Sports and Entertainment production. Have a great rest of your Hughes Day, ladies and gentlemen. Take it easy.